was even asked to be here. In June, I was sent a script and had to make a quick decision, and all I had to hear is that Jessica Lange was doing it, and I seized the opportunity, even though we didn't have very many scenes together, just for the opportunity to watch your magnificence, to try to even find a glimpse of the magic that you possess. And as I was trying to think about how I could put into words something for me that seems really indescribable, you are an artist that's ever evolving beyond words. And as I was sitting talking, my 3 daughters were with me, and they just started expressing their thoughts. And I felt like that was perhaps the best way that I could capture and share. So I put together these different musings from my 3 girls. She is past, present, and future all at the same time, ascending every societal constraint set on actresses before her. A pioneer of quiet grace and silent, all-encompassing strength and wisdom. An angel, a goddess, a badass bitch personified. Magnificent. She owns the modern millennium desire for powerful, strong women, while at the same time encompassing the grace and subtlety of icons of our past, continually surprising us with each performance. She gets more beautiful and powerful as she ages, making me long for a time I can know the world as much as she. She holds every string and commands the world by a look. We are all her audience, and she owns us. I truly have nothing more that I could add to the profundity of their words, except to say that you have created a transgenerational impact and inspired us, taking us to places that most of us could never even imagine, and if we did, we're probably too afraid to go to. And I am so grateful to be a part of this night. I truly am humbled and in awe. And on to the next clips.
Please welcome Executive Director of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Mr. Roger Durlin.
Hello, everybody. I actually have been in love with Jessica Lange since, early 80s. I saw her in Frances, and my apologies to Meryl Streep, but the year of Frances, she should have won the Oscar for Best Actress. And the reason why I have loved Jessica since the 80s up until today is that her performances, she has been so uncompromising, and it has spoken to the freak in me, the monster in me, and I've always looked up to Jessica because of the willingness to go in a high wire act performing. I saw her in Streetcar Named Desire on stage, and it's one of the most amazing blanche devoirs I have ever seen, and I don't think you will ever see again. Kirk always, excuse me if I'm going to get emotional. Kirk Douglas has been year after year in this room saluting people. From Ed Harris, who co-starred with Jessica in and Sweet Dreams and John Travolta and Robert De Niro, and he always wanted a female actor to be saluted, and he chose Jessica, and he cannot be here tonight, but the one thing that the two of them share is the uncompromising quality of their conviction to performing. And here's a little clip. I'm holding a martini because somewhere out there, Kirk is having a little martini toasting Jessica. So here's a little clip.
Well, here we are in beautiful Santa Barbara. And it's also the home of Santa Barbara Film Festival. Now, each year they give an award for excellence in film. And each year the Santa Barbara Film Festival gives an award for excellence in acting. Well, I want to tell you, you have a problem. Now they have done it for 6 years so far, and it's always been a man who gets the award. You will never have a woman. Tonight, you have a woman, and a beautiful woman, Jessica Lange. She has done so many things. I wish I were with you, but unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But I hope you're having a good time, and I hope the award doesn't create a problem for you. Thank you.
Here's the Kirk. Now, it's actually my great personal honor to introduce the presenter of the Kirk Douglas Award to Jessica. We were all misfits in high school, and Ryan Murphy made all of us geeks and misfits feel wonderful for being in high school with glee, and for all of us who felt freakish and weird for being in individuals, with his shows in American Horror Story has made freaks be okay, and it's okay to be freakish. And ultimately, on a personal note, Normal Heart, he made possible and normalized the idea of loving whomever you want to love. And it is my deep pleasure to introduce the amazing Ryan Murphy.
Clips came back because I was really looking forward to me acting out Greg Gardens for a year. That you were spared that thing. I also do a good blue sky, Jessica, as you know. Okay, so this is a true story. 1 year ago, Jessica Lange and I and a bunch of friends were on a small plane, and we were flying from New Orleans to Los Angeles, and we were playing a game we have often played before called Stump Lang. And it is a game show where I'm the host, and I say things like, Jessica Lange, for $1 million, name one Taylor Swift song. And she always loses, Jessica, but then she turns the tables on me and says things like, name one French wine, and then we're even. And on this day, quite suddenly, the plane was coasting along, and then it lost all electrical power. The compartment went black, and there was a deeply upsetting thunk, 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 thunk sound. and we could see that the pilot's control panel was also black. Everybody was instantly frantic and a wreck, and I can personally recall telling our flight attendant, "You really need to prepare me if we're going to die." There was some sobbing and general spiraling going on in our group, but not from Jessica. She was on her email, I believe trying to make some contact with her 3 children who she loves so much, but she could have been ordering online cataloging, I don't know. But she was very still. She was elegant in doom, even. I'll never forget it, she was languidly stretched out. I half expected her to purr. And I was so amazed when I finally said, "Jessica, what the hell? How can you be so calm?" And she took a beat, and she shrugged, and she said, "What the hell? It's been a good run." And indeed, truer words have never been spoken. The life and career of Jessica Lange is one for the ages, and I should say the power came on 2 minutes later, which is why we're here tonight. It was Euripides who said the greatest pleasure of life is love. And what I love the most about my Jessica Lange is that she's kind of slutty with her love. And by this I mean that no one thing can tame her or completely earn her complete interest. And I think this is why she's such a legend, an icon, and a genius. Jessica has an insatiable curiosity for life. She loves acting, of course, particularly a great nervous breakdown scene. But unlike the most of us, she is driven by so many passions and interests and not just one. She is a photographer, and a great one. She can milk a cow. She can grow a garden. She is the female Zelig, I think, of our time, having friends, companions, and muses to everyone of note, starting in 1968. Antonio Lopez, Bob Fosse, Baryshnikov, Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, Kathy Bates, Shirley MacLaine, on and on. Jessica Lange has been a cultural sun around which so much has evolved in our culture for the past 50 years. Indeed, it's been a good run. But the one thing I love the most about Jessica, after all this acclaim and achievement, is that she is still so vital and ambitious and alive. She suffers no fools. She demands that you bring your best because she is. She is always looking down the pike for the next thing to challenge herself. Everybody knows who sees her work that Jessica Lange is the great Pip of all time, meaning she is the sassy, sexy lady then and now. She is one of our great movie star beauties, who, thank God, also happen to be just a great actress. Allure is a word I often use to describe her. She is a real seductress. And she has seduced us all with her talent and beauty for all these years. And even the gays are not immune. And I know this firsthand because one day, with me, very casually, she was waxing rhapsodic about her love of the role of Mary Tyrone in Long Day's Journey into Night and how she had to play it again. She'd done it in London. It was her oxygen, and the next thing I knew, I bought it for her. So she does that to you. You know, you get so enraptured in her enthusiasm and her joy. But that's Jessica. And I don't need to read this part, but we've worked together now for close to 5 years. We've done 4 seasons of a show called American Horror Story, which I begged her to do. And simply because I was such a fan, you know. I was such a fan and I wanted to work with her, and we flirted with some other things, and I told her I would give her everything but the moon. She bought it, and she did it. And I have to say, one of the great joys of my career thus far is young people love that show. And the thing is, they watch the show and they're in awe of Jessica, and they've gone back and they got to experience all these great movies that we've seen tonight. And I see them on social media writing about Frances, and you know, there's nothing that I like better than having a conversation about Frances with a 15-year-old girl on social media. But I do it, and it's great, and I'm just so glad that so many people get to see the legend and the icon that is my Jessica Lange, and our Jessica Lange. She has 2 Academy Awards. She has 3 Emmy Awards. She has 6 Golden Globe Awards. I think she has close to over 100 awards throughout her legendary career. And I consider her just a muse and a great friend, and I love her. And I'm thrilled, Jessica, to present you with tonight's Kirk Douglas Award.
Well, this scratch pad, I don't know. Looking at these 38 years of clips today, I'm reminded of that Yeats poem, you know, that great line, the changing sorrows of her face. It feels to me like I've been doing this a very, very long time. And when I watch this, I see and feel so many different emotions, so many different ideas, so many different thoughts are going through my mind. First and foremost, I mean, I have to say that this sampling of 38 years of my work, I feel so blessed that somewhere along the line, when I was working as a waitress in New York City, somebody was crazy enough to say to me, do you want to go to Hollywood and do a screen test for a film called King Kong? And I thought, what the fuck? Why not? Back from Paris. I mean, I was like full of all this other stuff, but it was a free trip to California. I got to visit my sister who was on a sailboat off the coast of California, and I thought, yeah, I'll audition for that movie. Why not? And I remember going up there and like, you know, they took one look at me. I was fresh off the boat from Paris. I had this blonde afro like from Blonde Venus, no eyebrows. I was 114 pounds. Believe me, I'm like 20 pounds heavier, 30 pounds heavier now. But I was skin and bone, and Dino De Laurentiis took one look at me and said, no, don't even give this girl a screen test, send her back to New York. And I thought, well, okay, but some poor AD took pity on me and said, why don't we roll some film on this girl? She came all the way from New York. So I did a scene, and pretty soon I saw that the first AD came over, and then a little while later, the actual director showed up, and a little while later, Dino De Laurentiis showed up. And by the time I left Hollywood, they had offered me the part, and I said, okay, I'll do it, why not? I mean, you know, I'm working as a waitress at the Lion's Head in the Village. The only two jobs I've ever had in my life, waitress and actress. And I thought, well, actress might make more money, but marginally, in my case. I mean, I've made a little bit more than I probably would have as a lifetime waitress, but anyhow. But when I look at these clips, I think to myself, God, what a blessing this has been. All these 38 years that I've been able to be an actress, and that I've been able to work with these people like Demi and Kathy, and I mean all the great actors that I've worked with over the years, all the great directors that I've worked with, the writers that I've worked with. I mean, it has been such a blessing that sometimes it moves me so deeply that I can hardly believe that this is what my life became. I mean, and then you think about the parts that you were given to play. You know, when I look at Streetcar, I think, my God, I actually said Tennessee Williams' lines. I mean, I spoke his poetry. I mean, how incredible that was, how lucky I was. And then on the other hand, I look at it and I think, yeah, that first reel of clips, it was like sometimes 2 or 3 films within 1 year. You know, great films, great parts, great directors, great actors. And then I saw this thing happening where, like around 1999, that the films, the years on those films got further and further apart. And that coincided actually with about my 50th birthday. And I thought, how sad for women in Hollywood that there is this steep drop-off when you hit a certain age and those parts start to dry up and those films don't get offered to you anymore because you're 50 plus years old. And I thought this has been the case always. It's never the same for men, but it is for women. And it will probably never change. And that is a great, great sorrow. I think for all women, and especially in this business, that it has something to do with youth, that your talent, that your beauty, that all of that is somehow tied to being young. But on the other hand, you get to a certain age and it becomes apparent that you've moved into another area. And for me, it was Ryan Murphy, and he brought this thing to me that was so extraordinary. The idea that I could play these complete, complex, crazy, wild, big characters, even at this point in my life, and make it cinematic, more cinematic than most films that are being made at this time. And I think how lucky I was that that kind of imminent shelf life for most actresses didn't apply to me at this point in my life. So, and not just, not just with American Horror Story, but with Grey Gardens, with Streetcar. TV has offered a lot of women great parts that we wouldn't find on film at this moment in our lives. I feel so blessed in all aspects of this career that I have been able to live inside this wonderful world of dream and imagination and fantasy and whatever it is that you can bring in, you can make it come alive. The idea that, I've been able to immerse myself in the lives of others. And just the fact that I was able to speak the words of Tennessee Williams or Eugene O'Neill, or, it has been an extraordinary journey. And I am thrilled and deeply, deeply honored that Kirk Douglas, who I admire and who moves me so deeply, that he would single me out for this award. It is a wonderful, wonderful moment in my life. And I thank you all for being here. You're very kind to come for this evening. And I am myself thrilled to be here, and I thank Ryan and Kathy and Demi and all the people who came here tonight to pay this tribute. I'm deeply honored and feel a great love and connection to this business, to this art, and I thank Mr. Douglas from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.